Let's bring in the former Secret Service agent Tim Miller now for his thoughts. Tim, good morning to you. So how do you think Kimberly Cheatle went today?
Well, if the Secret Service was in a hole, Kim Cheatle dug it 10 feet deeper. Let me say this, the men and women of the Secret Service are amazing. And I feel very sad for them that given their professionalism and their sacrifice, they're having to endure this kind of leadership. Because as you heard in the hearing, this is not a partisan thing. Both Democrats and Republicans were as hard on her, and I listened to every minute of it, as they could be. And the simple answer is, with such a catastrophic failure in what happened under her leadership, why isn't she stepping down?
There has been so many conflicting accounts of what happened on that day. Are we any clearer as to what went wrong, Tim?
Well, certainly not after that briefing, because she didn't say anything that has not been put out in media. But look, here's what we know. I've done hundreds of these sites. And if you called me in front of Congress, I could identify 10 just like that. Here's what happened. Here's what happened. Here's what happened. This stuff about, well, we've got to wait, however many 30, 60 days. That's just not acceptable, because there's a campaign underway and we need these errors fixed, and fixed quickly. And let me just say this, some of those errors were rookie mistakes. Every agent in the Secret Service knows that first and foremost, you have to own the high ground. You have to identify the problem, and then you have to, what we say, post the problem. Either you have to have constant eyes on it, drones or whatever, or a person. And quite frankly, that position should have had a person standing on it.
Yeah, look. So do you think that Cheatle was deliberately obfuscating today, Tim, or do you think that it's a fair enough point to hide behind an investigation that's still taking place?
Well, I certainly think that if it was an honest effort to give answers, she failed. Now, let me say this, none of us want to be part of conspiracy theories. None of us want to speculate. But there were certain things that happened right in front of thousands of cameras that you don't have to try to figure out or investigate. Now, the why behind it, I understand. It's going to take some time. But here, it would have been very helpful, just like in the United States we see following active shooter situations. Someone stands up there as quickly as they can. They tell you what they know. They tell you how it happened. And then you have repeated news conferences to bring additional information. I don't think that flew today, either on the Democratic or the Republican side. So I think Director Cheatle's in for some serious heavy seas ahead.
Can she stay in the job?
Well, that remains to be seen, because somebody's going to have to fire her. And that's the person that can fire her, obviously, is the Secretary of Homeland Security or the president. And right now, it doesn't seem like either of them, despite the shocking thing. I mean, none of us since Ronald Reagan's attempt assassination has dealt with anything like this. So if this isn't enough, an active candidate for president being shot and others dying, if that's not enough to get you fired, I don't know what is.
Well, if she's still there, how does the Secret Service have credibility moving forward?
Well, therein lies the whole problem. And here's the problem. When I joined, I was a Marine, I was a Secret Service agent. It was a mission bigger than yourself. You understood, especially with the Secret Service, you may have to lay down your life to protect the leader of the free world. Somehow that shifted to, I have to protect myself. I have to protect my job. That's a sad state of affairs.
Was she good in that role up until that shooting, Tim?
Well, I mean, arguably, when you look at the incidents involving the Secret Service, remember, it wasn't 3 weeks ago, maybe, that 27 or 37 internal agents to the Secret Service became whistleblowers. And they said, hey, we've got a problem. We're not doing our mission. And yet that went relatively, unaddressed. And here's the problem with that. Those folks are risking their careers. They're active people inside of the Secret Service that are saying it's so bad that we have to bring this to light because we care, again, more about the mission than we do the personalities. And to find out today in her testimony that the Secret Service has 8,000 employees, they're authorized 9,500. Let me tell you, I've worked those campaigns where you go from stop to stop to stop. Not having those 1,500 additional agents, it just depletes the strength of your existing agents. So those are leadership issues that someone needs to look at and say, wait a minute, we're on the wrong path here.
Okay. Tim Miller, a former Secret Service agent, really appreciate your insight and your expertise this morning. Thank you.